Prime Minister Modi has landed in Brunei Darussalam, which is the first ever bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister. And as a special gesture, the Prime Minister was received by the Crown Prince Haji Al Muhtadi Billah. The two-day visit aims to strengthen India's ties with Brunei and commemorates 40 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Prime Minister Modi is in Brunei at the invitation of the Sultan, who is the second longest reigning monarch in the world following the UK's Queen Elizabeth II. The Prime Minister will be holding bilateral discussions on a variety of topics and aims to strengthen India's Act East policy, and this is part of a larger effort and a larger drive to reach out to important nations that sit on the Indo-Pacific. Let's get in my colleague Mohammad Ghazali to fill us in terms of what all is likely to be on the agenda, the next steps as far as this two-day visit is concerned. Share with us, Ghazali, what all is lined up in Prime Minister Modi's historic visit.
See, today the Prime Minister landed there in Brunei, becoming the first Indian Prime Minister to have a bilateral visit to Brunei. And why this is significant, we have stressed upon the fact that how Brunei's geopolitical location, geostrategic location, it's in the mid of the Indo-Pacific Ocean, surrounded by Malaysia, Indonesia, and maritime security remains on top of the agenda when it comes to India's Prime Minister's visit to any of the neighborhood, besides all the bilateral talks and talks hovering around the domain of space technology, health, education, cultural exchange. Now, coming to this specific visit, today the Prime Minister also visited the Indian High Commission, inaugurated a chancery, interacted with the Indian diaspora there, and after that, Indian Prime Minister is also going to visit Sultan Mosque there, an iconic mosque which was built by the father of the sitting Sultan or sitting head of the state there in Brunei, who was reportedly impressed with the Mughal architecture back in India. So that makes a special kind of attachment or India link to that mosque visit of Indian Prime Minister in Brunei. Now, what are the talks going to be about between Indian Prime Minister and the head of the state of Brunei? One being about the space technology. Why? Because India already has a ground station in Brunei for its eastward launches of satellites, and India will now assist Brunei in space technology and research, and Brunei already having a ground station for Indian satellites, or a telemetry station is already operational there, which tracks Indian satellites. So that is one domain which India and Brunei have always have a close cooperation, but in this particular visit, India will also try to enhance defense cooperation with Brunei. There is going to be a joint working group which will be constituted after the Indian Prime Minister will meet the head of the state of Brunei tomorrow, the Sultan of Brunei. And why this is significant? The significant part is that since independence, India has been relying on European partners for defense purchase and procurement like France, Germany, US. But in the immediate neighborhood, now close cooperation of India with Singapore, with Brunei and other nations, Brunei becomes a very key partner when it also comes to the maritime security, because we know that how China has been growing its influence in the Southeast Asian region. So this particular issue of maritime security, space technology and cooperation in defense sector will be the key between the talks between Indian Prime Minister and the Sultan of Brunei.
All right, Mohammad Ghazali, thanks much for breaking that down for us. And now let's get in an important diaspora voice to really talk more about the people-to-people connect, because that's also a very important aspect of this visit. Luv Shah, who's founder and CEO of Polygel Brunei, joins us live on the broadcast. Mr. Shah, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking to me. This is an important visit of the Prime Minister. There's a sizable diaspora presence as well in Brunei, and they are pretty much evenly split between the semi-skilled workers who are employed on the oil and gas front, which is a large industry, and of course the skilled professionals, particularly in the medical space, so to say. First of all, talk to us about the contribution, the impact that the Indian diaspora has as far as the economy and society of Brunei is concerned.
Good evening. So I'm very pleased to inform you that Indians have been in Brunei since the past 50, 80 years. They have earned a very high level of respect within Brunei, whether they are professionals, engineers working with oil and gas companies, or doctors, or finance professionals, bankers, etc. And then we also have a very large, let's say, worker community who contributes towards different industries, including oil and gas construction. But yeah, I mean, and Brunei on its side, the quality of life, standard of living, air quality index, it is at par with the best in the world. But most importantly, governance, law and order, etc., is really very high. So people who come to Brunei do not want to leave Brunei.
And when you talk about people to people connect and the diaspora linkages, they can have a cascading impact in terms of improving relations between two countries, and in this case between India and Brunei. Where do you see that actually being leveraged more? Do you see that in terms of boosting tourism to and fro? Could it also be in terms of tech linkages, B2B, business to business ties? How do you see all of that growing?
So we now have a direct flight starting from Brunei to India for the first time. It will be a direct flight from Brunei to Chennai starting in November, I'm told, which will enhance connectivity and linkage. Currently, it's via Singapore.
Just quickly address those shots and those footage coming in on our screens right now. That is Prime Minister Modi in Brunei. These are live shots coming in. Remember, he is in Brunei. He landed about 2 hours back Indian time, and right now he had a guard of honor welcome, and since then he's of course continuing with some of his important meetings in Brunei. Those are live shots coming in. This also comes as we mark 40 years of diplomatic relations between India and Brunei. Yes, Mr. Shah, go ahead, make your point, but I want to see those visuals on our screens, sir. But go ahead and make your point, sir.
So there is a business opportunity in downstream oil and gas, in pharmaceutical, in food, in IT, very clearly. There is room for small, medium, and large Indian companies to set up shop for Brunei and the larger Borneo market and a gateway to the ASEAN market. And companies, as we speak, companies are coming into Brunei, setting up shop as a gateway to ASEAN market. On the other hand, India can benefit from the significant oil and gas reserves, and enhance our energy security. And I believe there is some discussion on those lines as well, besides space, science and technology, etc. But as far as the diaspora is concerned, they're very well looked after, and they are very happy in Brunei. So like I said, people who come to Brunei, they don't want to leave Brunei.
Yes. All right. As I said, those are live visuals coming in. Prime Minister Modi had a ceremonial welcome. He was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Brunei International Airport, and since then he's being received by members, senior members of the Brunei government, and of course several other leaders as well. There is a lot lined up for the Prime Minister between today and tomorrow when he leaves for Singapore, and we'll keep getting you those visuals. And Mr. Shah, quickly as we wrap up this discussion, what would be your expectation from this visit, from as a diaspora member, when it comes to exchange of skills, exchange of people? What would be your key expectation out of this?
So there's clearly an opportunity in the oil and gas sector, and if the two governments agree, there are raw materials and feedstocks available here. There's significant gas reserves, and a lot of materials that India is importing currently from other countries, including China, can be manufactured in Brunei and exported to India. So it can really enhance the energy security of India. But there is also, with more people-to-people contact and, business community meeting each other, clearly
could be a whole host of things, as I said. Apart from tourism, there could also be more on the Muara port. There could be also membership of Brunei as far as BIMSTEC is concerned, and also helping diversify Brunei's economy by putting in investments. That's the role that India could also play in terms of diversifying Brunei's economy away from oil and gas. Appreciate you taking out the time. And